students, of our young students that was facing some challenges in their academic path. And that is the mission of our program. And what we wanted, and we have challenged the Faculty of Psychology and Educational Sciences, was to join us in designing a program where our employees could make this difference. And we develop a mentoring program that after a short pilot, we evolved into other pillars that include also the digital literacy competencies development. And this is a joint venture of several companies. It all started at Critical Software, but today we are 7 companies. We have 7 companies involved, and some of you work in one of these companies. So we really believe in the power of the entrepreneurship in building this better world for everyone. And like Neil said, he's not here for, he's with us since the beginning, since March 2021. He's one of our trainers in Inspirar or Inspire pillar. And our very short story is a very successful one because we have evolved every year and we now have reached the milestone of over 100 volunteers, and we now are supporting more than 350 students across Portugal. These are our numbers of the past few years. So we, in fact, in all our pillars that you are going to know better later on, we have reached more than 480 students, either in mentoring pillars or in the digital literacy development teaching. Our company is not only a company of companies, but also a company of very skilled technological coordinators that are in charge of the educational methodology that we provide to our volunteers. So this is our team. Neil is one member of our technical coordination team is in charge of our Motivate pillar, but all pillars have a person in charge that will train you, will supervise you, and will guide you in this mission along the academic year. And our program started in the beginning as a mentoring program, but we have evolved across the years, and now we have 4 intervention pillars. 2 of them are dedicated to mentoring, and the difference between Inspire and Motivate Plus is the age group of the students we work with, and also the methodology we apply. We also have the develop, or in Portuguese, desenvolver pillar, where we teach programming skills to our children. And we have another more corporative pillar that is the expand pillar, where we can build with your support workshops, open days, or events that can expand the horizons of our students. Just to give you, so in the Inspire pillar, which is a mentoring program for small children from 6 to 9 years, is a pillar that is coordinated directly by the Faculty of Psychology and Educational Sciences by Daniela Ferreira. And you will be able to promote their self-confidence, their self-esteem, their motivation with the support of our technical coordination. And what we ask from you as volunteers is to dedicate 1 hour per week to this child. So your mission as a mentor is to take this hour to inspire her in these mentoring sessions that will take place at school, in their own schools. All volunteers, independently of the pillars you choose, will have a basic training to prepare you for this mission. In the case of the Inspire pillar, you have a first level that is for all beginners. So I believe you all will be joining us as a beginner. So you have 12 hours of training that will be conducted online, and that will be recorded for you to watch it as many times as you like. During the academic year, you will also have a monitoring session with Daniela that will understand the challenges that you are facing and will give you the guidance and the skills that you or the knowledge that you might need to face the challenges, to help you face the deal with the challenges you are facing. Last year, we had 29 volunteers that mentored 29 children from Mirandela, right north in Mirandela, up to Ponte de Sor. And these were the schools we have worked with last year. But if you'd like to work with older students, you can join our Motivate Plus pillar. And for that, we have new that will talk a little. We will introduce you to this pillar and let you know what are the challenges you are going to face. Neil.
Do you want me to do it now, or do you want to? Do you want to go
If you'd like, I can go
no,
to
you can
the end.
continue, and then I'll
Okay.
come back into this.
So this, like I said, with the Motivate, we are going to work with students from 11, 12 years up to students with 16 or plus. We have been working with students at vocational schools, and what we want them is to help them start thinking with critically thinking about their own lives, about their own path, and prepare a life plan. So, and define strategies and goals. And you as mentors will support them in doing this reflection. You also have the necessary training that will be provided either by Neil or by Renato Paiva in the Motivar pillar. And the structure is very similar to Inspire. What we ask from you is for you to have one mentoring session per week of up to one hour. And because we are dealing with older students that have more autonomy, sometimes these mentoring sessions can occur online as well. So you can either be in person or have a hybrid model or a full remote model. Also, the cruising is our supervision sessions or monitoring sessions where you will meet with Neil or Renato to make a follow-up of your mission and how things are going. Last year, in this case, and you're going to notice that there is a gap between the number of volunteers and the number of students, because sometimes, because it's more flexible, the format of the Motivar and Motivate sessions, sometimes mentors can be available to mentor more than one student. So some of our volunteers were available to do this. And that's why we had 54 volunteers, 54 mentors, but we were able to mentor 66 students last year. And we have mentors working in Germany, mentoring students in Odemira, which is a very poor zone in Portugal. And we are also considering to make cultural exchanges with the United Kingdom, and hopefully we can implement our program across borders as well. And then finally, we have the develop or the desenvolver pillar, where we teach programming skills at schools. We work with elementary schools with children with 9 or 10 years. And we teach Scratch. And it is not necessary for you to have any background in software development, because we will give you all the training that is necessary, and we have the curriculum already ready for you just to implement at schools. And you will have full guidance and support from our coordinator, Ricardo Almeida. In this pillar in particular, it's not an individual one. You will work in groups of sometimes 2 or 3 volunteers, because you will integrate a curricular activity at school. So we have to ensure that the whole academic year is completed. So when we create teams, we ensure that at least one volunteer is available to give the lesson. Last year, we were in Porto in 2 school groups, and in center we are working in Coimbra, Sintra, Pontessor, and we also had a volunteer in Azores. In total, we had 29 volunteers, and we were able to teach Scratch to 383 children. So what is our commitment with you? The Companhia Estudo will fully assume this commitment of doing everything that is necessary for you to be ready to assume your mission and be ready to engage with your mentee or with your classroom. We will liaise with schools, with your companies if you come, if you are a co-worker of one of our company partners. And we will ensure you all the training, all the monitoring that you need. And in the end, we will produce an annual impact assessment to make sure that our work is really impactful and is making a change in these children's lives. The partners, if you are one of our, if you work in one of our company partners, is to give you all the support you need by being fully committed with our program. And what we ask from you is for you to carry out with zeal and diligence this commitment. I usually say that we are not going to paint walls or make a refurbishment, although this is a very valuable work, of course, but we are going to enter in someone else's lives. And we must be sure that our impact is at least, it must be positive. Sometimes we are working with children that are in vulnerable situations, and we want to really make sure that we are not going to leave on them another bad memory. So what we want from you is to be really committed to carry out this mission until the end of the academic year, which is June, and that you participate on our training and monitoring sessions. The training sessions will be recorded so that you can watch as many times as you need to understand the information that is going to be conveyed. But monitoring sessions are never recorded, because that is the moment where you will share the more confidential information. And for that reason, you really have to participate synchronously. You will be presented a volunteer protocol that will then ask you to sign, just to ensure that we are committed with this mission. And because by law, it is also required when we work with minors, you have to request a criminal record. You also have to sign our ethics code, just to ensure that you are totally aligned with our principles and our values. So we are now with our applications open, and they will end on the 30th September. So you still have time to enroll in our program if you haven't done yet. And we are expecting to kick off our training sessions on the 18th October. So when you fill in our application form, you will be invited to have a quick interview just to know you more, just to understand if we aligned in the mission you have chosen. And then if everything runs okay, which I believe it will, you will start your volunteering work in beginning of November. So this is what you have to do. I have already said this is a process. So I will be very happy for you to join us. And I will let you now speak a bit more about our motivate, but in fact, in all pillars, what we really want to challenge you is to become a hero, a champion on someone else's lives, someone that is sometimes in a more vulnerable, for various reasons, situation, and perhaps you can make the difference. You can be that person that won't let this child or these young students behind. Neil, would you like to share? Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to be quick. Let me share mine. So if you want to unshare yours.
Yes. You can unshare mine
I
if
can
you'd
unshare
like.
yours. I'm the
Yes.
boss of this.
Yes, you're the boss.
Okay. Okay. I updated my system, so it's asking me for special permissions as well. Okay, well, I'm going to explain a bit about how Motivate works, Motivate Plus, we call it, including the question that was asked about how the training is done. Patricia did touch on that, but we'll get a little bit more detail from that now. So I'm going to take a little, maybe about 10, 15 minutes maximum to go through basically the structure of what we're looking like if you're with me in my pillar, which is Motivate Plus. So the up-to-date calendar, this was last year's calendar, where we had sessions in October, November, December, and January, where we do 12 sessions, sessions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, over these months, where you get some input, where we cover a number of different things, from Portuguese education system, education generally, and another number of kind of technical things that we'll get into and discuss about education that we will build on that will be useful for your mentoring. We're looking at 4. Joaquin will be coming over to Portugal. I'm in the UK, so I won't be going to Portugal in September. But yeah, Patricia, if you wanna answer Joaquin privately there. So there was a UNESCO report on education from 1996 by Jacques Delors, which was talking about learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be. And so we somewhat base some of what we're talking about around these 4 pillars of education as well. So we'll get into that. We'll talk a little bit about what those mean. It's going into a little bit more detail about it, which I'm not going to go into now, but this will be available for you as you do the training, and you'll be able to get your hands on some of this, and the video that will have the discussions about that. Then we'll be looking at mentoring competencies. What are the skills and what are the competencies of being a mentor? So we'll look about what is mentoring itself, what does it mean, how is it different from other things, how is it different from being a friend, how is it different from being a teacher, how is it different from being a tutor? I know there's a lot, but there's still a lot of kind of overlap in these different things between being a mentor and being a tutor. There can be a lot of overlap. Sometimes people help with homework. Sometimes they don't help very much with homework. I know one person, I think is Bernardo, is there, hasn't got his camera on. But with one of the mentors, it was playing online games, was part of what he would do, because this is what got the kids to talk and to collaborate and to realize that, it's not just about get your homework out and let's go through what you need to study today. So it's not tutoring, although there may be some tutoring if that comes up, if your mentee asks for it, for example. We'll look at other core skills in mentoring. We'll look at mindset, both for students and for Bernardo's trying to get his camera working. We want to see your face, Bernardo. So we'll look at the mindset of the mentor, the mindset of the yes, Marina. It's the whole academic year, so it's from October to June. And we'll look at core mentoring skills, listening, questions. We'll look at some ethics around mentoring as well, because it's just not a free-for-all. There are ethics which are involved, so we'll get into that. When we're talking about mindset, we'll be talking about work by Carol Dweck, who talks about mindset, which is the belief that I can improve, the belief that I can do better. Not just people who give up and say, oh, I'm not smart enough, but people have a mindset. So we'll be looking at that from a point of view of mentors with a growth mindset and mentees with a mindset, and how to develop a mindset, a growth mindset with your mentor. We'll be looking at levels of listening. We'll be looking at, maybe some of you know, maybe on the lower levels of ignoring me or pretending to listen to me, or just being selective about what you're picking up or what's interesting to you. And then we've got attentive listening and empathetic listening. So we'll dig into what listening looks like with our mentee, and how to learn to listen better, how to learn to listen between the lines. We'll look at what emotional intelligence is and what it isn't. And we'll be looking at the profile, the student's profile for the end of compulsory learning. This is a Portuguese document, so it's relevant to the Portuguese education system, but it is built on a lot of international stuff. I have a copy in English, so we'll have both copies, the Portuguese and the English copy, that we can look at, and some of the concepts. What are we looking at developing in ourselves? What are we looking at developing in our mentees? So we'll be looking at from the educational viewpoint as well, with some educational documents. Then going back to emotional intelligence, we'll be looking at this tool, which has come out of the University of Yale over the last few years, Ruler, which is learning to deal with emotions in a healthy way. The training here that they give at Yale is specifically meant for schools. So Ruler, in terms of emotions, is recognizing your emotions, understanding what they're about, where they came from, labeling them correctly, giving the right name to the right emotion, expressing them in a healthy way, and regulating. And so we'll talk about how that works and how maybe you'll be helping an adolescent to deal with how they walk through their own emotions.
Ruler makes us a better place. I feel that Ruler has helped me because I'm able to show who I really am. I think after having Ruler come in, I've grown so confident and
Okay, so we'll dig more into that. So this is what the acronym means. If you're Portuguese or if you grew up in the Portuguese education system, ruler wasn't a positive thing in the school some years ago. It was what the teacher used to hit the student with, was the ruler. But now we're bringing in the ruler to education in a good way, in a positive way. So recognizing, understanding, labeling, expressing, and regulating. And we'll talk about that for ourselves as well as adults, because I am firm in the belief that if you don't have it, you can't teach it. If you don't know about it yourself, how are you going to help somebody else to develop it? So we're also learning life skills for ourselves, not just one of my specific interests in the area of mentoring, and I've been doing mentoring for a long time, is how mentoring has an effect on the mentor. So, for example, how mentoring makes Andre grow, how mentoring helps Farouk to grow. And so what do you develop and what do you grow in terms of your own skills and abilities through mentoring? There's another tool that we'll be looking into and digging into, which is something called the mood meter. So what kind of mood are you in? Are you in a red mood, yellow mood, blue mood, or a green mood? What does that mean? Well, we'll dig into it. Red moods are high energy and don't feel very good. I'm mad. That means I don't feel very good. It's not a pleasant feeling. And then we have brave or pumped or energized or confident, which are yellow emotions, which is where we feel pleasantly good. And sometimes the red emotion is the appropriate emotion for a situation. And sometimes the yellow emotion might be the appropriate emotion to have in a situation. And then there's the green. I spent a lot of time in the green. And then there's the blue. The blue is, like the songs say, feeling blue, feeling down, not feeling so kind of positive, but in a low energy kind of way. And then the green is the feeling good, feeling nice, feeling calm, but with low energy, which is actually, I'm plotting this over several months. I spent a lot of time in the green space. I'm a lot of places where I feel mellow, calm, peaceful, chill. And sometimes I kind of need to get out of that and get a little bit more high energy. So it's like knowing where I am, understanding where I am, and then looking at that more intentionally. So we'll get into that. We'll be looking at ethics. I like ethics. Ethics kind of give us a groundwork in knowing how to deal with situations which may be a little bit complicated. And let's not pretend not everything is easy and nice when we're dealing with mentees. Yesterday I gave a training to teenagers who are about 15, 16, 17 years of age, and they're going to be mentoring kids who are like 9, 10, 11, 12 years of age. So even kids doing kids, and we have to talk about ethics. We talk about what is good in a relationship, what maybe not be allowed in a mentoring relationship, what are things to be careful of, what if you find out information which you don't know what to do with. Maybe you find out some horrible information about your mentee. Sometimes we get kids who they end up going to school and they haven't had anything to eat. They go to school every day without any food. What do you do? What do you do with that kind of information? So we have a structure about that. We have ethics that we need to look at. I talk about the difference between having confidentiality and a secret. We don't hold secrets, but we do hold confidentiality. So not talking about our mentee and their issues with anybody else, unless we have one of these important issues, and then we need to talk to somebody who's in charge of the project. Somebody who's supervising, which would be myself, which would be Patricia, or would be one of the other people who are responsible in the other pillars if you're involved in any of the other pillars. And even in the supervision sessions, which go monthly to the end of the year, if there are issues that come up, I mean, we just had one at the end of last year, I think it was in May or June, I can't remember, where there was Andrea that was there, Bernardo was there, I think Farouk might have been there, and somebody was saying, I had difficulty with this, and the others would give kind of their opinion of maybe what they could do. So we kind of help each other out as well, because we can talk about things as a group, but it doesn't leave the group. So how does the ethics work? And this is an important area, which often is forgotten when we talk about mentoring projects. I'm going the wrong way. So the supervision sessions, these are the sessions that we have after training. So we do the 12 training sessions, and then each month we meet together and we come together to find out, okay, how are things going? Some of the things that can happen, like, for example, one person's mentee disappeared. It was a university student, and they didn't come for a couple of months, and the mentor didn't know what to do. How do I follow them up? Should I chase after them? How do I find out? And so we talk about that. And after a couple of months where this person had kind of disappeared, they came back. They came back and things continued, and they'd started to realize by the end of the mentoring, they realized the value that they were getting from the mentoring and that it was important. But because this was a university student, so we sometimes even get the possibility of a university student. The challenge then that I gave to the mentor was, what if you challenge your university student to become a mentor? And to take that on further. So even having that vision of becoming sustainable and taking things forward as other people become mentors as well. So that's part of what we do in the supervision. Supervision is not control, it's supervision. It's taking a bird's eye look at things, looking at things from above, kind of getting away from the trees and looking at the forest as a whole. So we can get these discussions together. The model that we use for the supervision, it doesn't seem like we're using a model because it's very, very organic, but it is actually a model. It's called the Proctor model, which is normative, formative, and restorative, which is borrowed from clinical supervision, where the normative, we're talking about, you know, how are things going in terms of the meetings and, you know, what's going on, the professional standards, yourself, the training. So it's kind of keeping it with making sure that things are going okay with you in terms of the organizational part of the mentoring. Then there's the formative. So it's through mentor development. So maybe there's something that you have as an issue that we talk about, and it's the idea is that together we grow and we learn together when we share these areas and we develop our skills. And then the last part is the restorative, and this also gives support to you as the mentor. Sometimes there are things that you need to talk about. Maybe you're having a hard time. Maybe you feel like you're not doing a good job, and you need some encouragement, and you need somebody to say, you know, well, we're with you, we'll support you. If there's anything that's stressful, and that can be done in the group, or that can be done individually. If you feel like you need an individual conversation, you can have that kind of conversation with me. You can have that kind of conversation with Patricia, and we'll help you to figure that out as well. So these are the three areas. I'll go through that again: normative, formative, and restorative. And finally, a quote from Rita Pearson, who we saw earlier at the beginning when Patricia was sharing. And I like this quote. Kids don't learn from people they don't like. Think back to yourself in school. Think back to when you were a kid in school and the subjects that you liked, the things that even that you did well in, and the ones that you didn't really, you know, that you hated. And what was the reason that you didn't like certain things in school? And what was the reason that you did like certain things in school? And you probably find that a lot of it has got to do with the teacher that you had. Did you like them or did you not like them? If you have a teacher that you like and you struggle with that subject, you sometimes work harder at that subject and you ask them for help because you trust them. There's a trust relationship there. But teachers don't have the time for all of the students that they have. I wrote textbooks for Portuguese state schools, and the main complaint I got from teachers all the time were things like, I have 300 students. Or I have 220 students. I can't know them all. I can't know all their names. I can't deal with all of their situations and all of their problems. And so mentoring is a way that we allow each kid to be seen, each kid to have somebody that they could talk to, that will see them, that will be able to give them their attention that maybe the teacher, we can't expect the teacher to give them. So we use you to do that. In another context, we use university students in other projects to do that. And in other contexts, we use the older students themselves to do that with the younger students, a whole army of mentors coming from different directions in different ways, different techniques, all so that each student will be seen and each student will have the opportunity to have somebody that they like. And so a lot of what we hope that you will do with a mentor is build a relationship of mutual liking. And because it's a formal process, it lasts for a year. You can't guarantee that the person you got this year is the person you get next year. We try. I know in some cases, I know for Andrea, for example, his mentee wants him back. So we'll see about that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Farouk. Is it Farouk, isn't it? And Andrea. They were on the mentoring last year. And to give a little bit about your testimony of mentoring to encourage people to take the dive in and get involved. Let's go in alphabetical order. Farouk.
Alphabetical order and Farouk?
Yeah,
Really?
the other way. Yeah.
I think it was vice versa, Neil.
Reverse alphabetical order.
Ah, okay, I see. Hello, Farouk from Critical Tech Works. And yes, and as Neil stated, I was with Andrea and some other volunteers for the last year Motivar. And what I can tell is, as a one-year experienced mentor, I come to realize that most significant aspect of mentorship isn't the transfer of knowledge that we have, that we are keeping inside, but the important thing, and I learned from Neil as well, is transformation of the mindset that we have. The first step for the looking for the things, for the things that we are seeing to our mentees is not filling them with facts, but awakening themselves to believe in themselves, their capacity to grow, learn, and try for something new in their lives. As you can see, mentoring is kind of journey for empowerment that we have with our mentor-mentee relationship. Of course, in the journey of empowerment, we have encountered countless of obstacles with my mentee, but still turning those obstacles to something as stepping stone created some extra relationship with the mentee that I have. And of course, in this kind of situations, I was in contact with Neil and some volunteers as well in the program, and we had the opportunity to look for the solutions that we had. And overall, at the end of the day, as I'm seeing correctly, mentorship is about unlocking the potential from mentee and mentor side. It's not only one-way direction, it's both way. It's about the realization that we have for the right guidance, and if we are thinking about that, anything is possible. Actually, that's the beauty for this relationship. We walk the path together, each step revealing themselves with the opportunities, new strength, and new possibilities that we can take for the success. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the experience that I got with the last year.
Okay, thank you, Farouk.
Okay.
Those who are curious, Farouk is from Turkey. So if
Yeah, from Turkey.
anybody speaks
I
Turkish,
forgot to mention that.
you can practice with Farouk. Thank you, Farouk. Andrea.
Well, yes, I think Farouk nailed it. It is quite an experience, and whether you're ready or not, you will grow with this experience. And it's not always easy. The first barrier to overcome is trust. Every so often you find yourself with a mentee that may have trust issues because of contexts, different experiences in life. And that's one good thing that we have here. We have a support system, both from Neil and everyone else's experience dealing with some of these challenges. So you won't be alone finding the solutions for these issues. And on my experience is well, I feel like I was really fortunate. I was really lucky. We were able to find a common ground with the mentee and turn around what Farouk said. The approach that my mentee had towards a number of things, and being more positive about certain situations, and believing in herself, and being able to accept challenges. And by the end of the year, maybe maths wasn't the best thing in the world, but she no longer hated it. At least the wording was slightly different. She still didn't love it yet, but it's baby steps.
Yeah.
And that experience, that growing up, well, whether you're ready or not, you will grow up also with this experience. It's something that gives you a different perspective also for yourself as a mentor. And for me, I think that was the best of the whole experience with Companhia Estudo, particularly here in Motivate.
Thank you, Andre. I remember talking about the girl with the maths. We talked about the spectrum of, she's on this side, I hate maths, and you don't have to get it to the other side.
Yeah.
It's what do you need to do to get one step closer to the other side? And this is when we talk about mindset, is where you have a mindset with, no, this is something that I just hate and I don't want to know. But actually you can start to develop and help to develop different ways of thinking by supporting the kid. And then it's gone from just hating to, yeah, it's okay. I can do it. I can do it. I don't want to do it for my whole life, but I can do it if I need it. And so that's a testimony as well for just how you can see a little bit of change, and just that little bit of change can make a big difference in the future. We don't know 10, 20 years down the road that kid is going to be somebody who is investing in somebody else's life because they believe that somebody else, they have the patience with somebody else to help them when they need it, even with their own kids in the future. So yeah, thank you, Andre. So we're going to open up for a time of questions, answers, if we have the answers. Where are the mentees from? Patricia, where are the mentees from? Is the first question.
Thank you for the question. Currently, our students are from schools in Portugal, but Neil and I, we were trying to create connections in UK as well. So eventually one day we will be mentoring students in the United Kingdom. But for now, currently in Portugal. And with the Motivate pillar, we can do this remotely. And so this is very beneficial for students that are very excluded socially or technologically, to have a mentor that lives in a different world. And it's a way of showing them the world through our eyes.
Sarah's asking what's the link for the enrollment.
Yes, I will share now, but I will also send you an email with all the information, but I will leave the link here. More questions. It's up to you, and you can intervene, also give your opinion. Feel
I have
free.
a question.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, nice. So I have a question about mentor. That is plus. So how I understand? No, it's motivate plus. So it can be in English, but then the children are Portuguese, and my Portuguese is not that good to
No, we
motivate
have
them.
sometimes we have foreign students in Portugal that their Portuguese isn't very good, and they can handle English. And so
But-
in that, yeah, Patricia. give
But
me
we
details.
also have, and Farouk was a mentor of Portuguese students. I don't know, Farouk.
Sometimes you get Portuguese students who can speak English really well.
Yeah, that is all right. From my previous experience with Monica, mostly we were talking in English, not in Portuguese. I'm hoping that this answered your question, Marina.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's answered my question. But then I also have another question regarding to expand, because firstly I saw that it's 4 different programs and expand is one of them that is more about activities.
Yes.
But after the presentation, I'm a bit confused if it's really totally different program.
The Expand is a more corporative one, so it's organized by the company partners. And sometimes you can be a volunteer, like organizing a workshop. For instance, I believe, Marina, you work at Critical Tech Works? Yes. Critical Tech Works has been organizing for the last couple of years boot camp. And so you can become a volunteer of that as well. But it's a one shot, it's a one moment. So you can also do one mentoring and then get involved in one of these events organization.
Okay, but for example, if I am feeling that I only available for expand, I also can apply and mention that expand, or
yes,
it's just
and we
like
will have
addition?
you in our database
Right.
and share with the company partners. Yes.
Okay, okay, it answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you. And taking the question, Marina's question about expand, of course, this is a pillar that is available. In that pillar in particular, there is no training. It's a self-organized pillar where take, for instance, the boot camp was designed by a couple of mentors of Companhia de Estudo that decided they wanted to give something more hands-on and to share the knowledge they also think is valuable for the students they are mentoring. And they have created this bootcamp. In critical software, for instance, we have our open days, we do our agile workshops, design thinking workshops, but we would like very much to challenge you to embrace this challenge of becoming a mentor or to teach Scratch at schools for a whole academic year. In case you cannot get committed for a whole school year, the Expand pillar is a good option. So, Sara, Catarina, Joaquim, Bernardo, Susana.
I've got a question. I have put it on the chat. It is regarding the Develop program. Does it occur during working hours, or I don't know? I would like to know a little bit about it.
It does occur during work hours because we go to our schools. I believe you are Portuguese, our escolas primárias. I don't know, Bernardo, if you can share your location. Are you where in Portugal?
Yeah, I mean in São João da Madeira.
Oh, so it would be a challenge because we would need to have more volunteers from your area so that we could create a team, and then you would be responsible for a full classroom, and you would go to the school for 1 hour each week to give a Scratch class. And this usually happens during working hours, sometimes in the end of the morning, like 11, 12, sometimes in the beginning of the afternoon, like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Usually those are the hours. But take, for instance, in Azores, we were not able to create a team, so we worked with another type of organization with extracurricular activities. And so in that case, we can work after working hours.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We still have 5 minutes, so take the opportunity. This is your moment. Neil, would you like to? You're in mute.
I don't have my guitar, so I can't sing a song. No, from my side, hopefully we'll see some of you. Andre Farouk, this year we'll have some extras as well, because we talked about doing
Sarah has a question
a
that
little
I'd
bit more
like.
advanced. Sarah said she'll be out of Portugal until the 26th of September, and that's okay. That's not a problem.
Yeah, that's okay. If you
Me too.
enroll in Motivate Plus, it's okay, because like I said, we had volunteers in Munich, Southampton, mentoring students in very remote areas in Portugal. And that's quite beneficial for them. It's to give them the opportunity to travel when they cannot usually, because they are from more difficult backgrounds, social backgrounds.
Yeah.
But just to clarify, the mentoring starts in September, or is
No,
it November?
it will start. So we will start your training session. So you have to be ready for the mission, and we will start our training sessions in mid-October. And until the beginning of November, we will get in touch with you to share the possibilities of the mentoring, because all our matching is done with your accordance. So you have to feel comfortable with our proposal. And then your mentoring sessions will start early November. For those that are already with us, like Andre or Farouk, usually they can start just right away once the academic year starts. Because we believe that the continuation, the mentor is like a tango, and it takes two to dance, to tango. So both mentors and mentees have to be willing to keep this relationship. If both people want to keep it, they can continue this relationship.
And sorry, just now I noticed I meant in October. So in the first 3-4 weeks of October, I won't be in Portugal. But is that like a blocker?
No, because our training sessions will be online. So unless you have a different time zone, a very, very different one, is that you won't be able to attend. And we will also record every session and make it available for you in our YouTube channel. So I have already share with you our link for you to enroll in our program. We all would love to have you in our company. And so if you still have any questions, feel free to reach out by email, and we'll be very pleased to answer all your questions. And hopefully we will see in October again.
We have a question from Elsa.
Do you? Who chooses the mentees? So that's in accordance with you. So we will first agree in which organization you would like to do the mentoring. And then we will contact the organization this child or this young student is involved. Sometimes our school, sometimes is foster care. And we will share your profile, who you are, and we will try to do this match with the psychologists that are in these organizations. And then we will come back to you with our proposal and understand if that is, if you feel comfortable in mentoring the mentee we are going to propose you. Okay. So we will now leave you. We are going to jump to our webinar in Portuguese. So if you'd like to attend that as well, feel free. Thank you for your participation. And I would love very much to see you on board next October. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.